Go.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the March 11th, 2024 meeting of the Angola Plan Commission. May I have the call to order with a roll call, please?
Earl Carpenter. Amanda Cope. Here. Josh Fletcher.
Present.
Tina King.
Present.
Jeff Variant. Jennifer Sharkey. Here. Grant Moore. Jeff Peters.
Here.
Susan Ralston.
Here.
Steve White. Nick Sutton. Austin.
Okay, we have a confirmation of quorum. May I have approval of the minutes for the February 12th, 2024? If there's been any changes?
Make a motion to approve.
Second? Is there any old business? I'll let Jennifer carry on then with our case this evening.
So our one and only case this evening is 520 North Wayne Street. It is a rezone. Craig Everidge is the applicant and Linda Parks is the owner. The property is 520 North Wayne. It's currently zoned C1, which is small to medium general commercial, and they're requesting to rezone to C2, so medium to large. The current use is vacant. The proposed use is automobile repair, body shop, and service. Legal notices appeared in the Herald on March 1st. 11 surrounding property owners were sent a certificate of mailing on February 27th. Title 18 of the UDO, Indiana Code 36-7-4-600 series, and Indiana Code 36-7-4-1015 series apply. If I can get this to work. I can see this way. The property has been a service station since the 1950s. In 2016, there were demo permits that were issued for the fuel canopy. This aerial you're looking at is from 2009. And the outbuildings were removed at that time too. Today, there's a 42 by 28 single building on the property. There's 2 curb cuts. So let me back up here, sorry. 2009, you'll see the canopy and outbuilding. This is the building that remains. This was from 2017. That gives you some idea. There are 2 curb cuts along North Wayne and asphalt parking lots. On Morse, there's kind of unlimited access. If there was a curb, it doesn't exist today. On the back half, there used to be a pavement. It appears to crumble. You can kind of see like the pavement's back here. There's concrete, asphalt. So some sort of pavement existed. And let's see from those photos. So this is a comparison of the C1 to C2 zoning district. This is all the uses that we would be permitted in C2 that are not permitted in C1. So you can see that comparison on the use itself, and then you see the 3 the applicant is interested in. I bold a little bit. So, car wash, gas station, rental, and all those auto uses, banks.
Jen?
Yes.
So the C1 is in red? Or is it?
On the next page, yes.
Yeah, what page are you at?
It's okay. We can go to there. So the C1, there's no C2 in the area. Well, there is actually by the railroad tracks on Mill Street. Everything around there is C1.
Oh, that's all C1. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see.
Yep. Okay.
You do have even the homes behind or to the east are zone C1. And then across the street is all the traditional residential. For some contextual zoning. The comprehensive plan, I feel like we use these objectives a lot. You know, we always encourage redevelopment of underutilized and vacant lots and structures, infill development. In the actual map itself, you can see the stars about where the property is at. And they talk about this area being that transition from, you know, the village in the downtown district. You know, they want to see it as a transition zone from being pedestrian oriented to auto oriented. General goals for the area. It can be general commercial, but also high density residential, more that village type focus is what the comp plan is about. So this is just a few pictures looking over the site. You see the one building here. It still has an original sign as well. And then kind of the opposite view or opposite direction for the site as well. So this is Morris Street and then the back side here. There are some outstanding plan review comments that we sent to the applicant. Let's go to the image itself here. That'll be easier to talk through. A lot of this is related to like the safety of the entering and exiting the parcel itself. Getting the minimum standard parking requirements, you know, where's the dumpster, different things along those lines. So not having this curb cut, obviously today, we wouldn't permit that since they have two directing traffic here. Having an actual curb in and out along Morris Street as well to help control traffic. This is more than enough parking. You lay it out plenty. Also lot coverage, putting this green space along here they would be right at the maximum lot coverage for the property itself. So that helps summarize the comments that I wrote out there. There hasn't been any public input as part of the legal notices. So again, staff is always encouraging redevelopment of properties or reactivation. The property has been historically used for auto-oriented businesses. However, the property did lose its legal non-conforming status just because of the lack of active use on it. In 2008, there was a very concise or conscious effort to phase out auto-oriented businesses along this corridor, which is why you see all of C1 rather than C2 zoning districts that they adopted. I just give the board some thought, is that still the same desire today? Are we okay with more auto-oriented uses in this area? I would recommend the following commitments, if the board does want to approve, the following commitments be made as well. And this is a recommendation to City Council. City Council ultimately approves or denies rezones.
So Jennifer, all the businesses that are currently in C1 that do automobile sales and repair, those were grandfathered in? Is that correct? Okay.
Or perhaps see delayed use variance, but I think most of them were all grandfathered.
Question. What about the Staples building?
The Staples building?
Yeah, that's now a body shop.
I believe it's C2 is my guess, just knowing the lot size, but I'd have to pull up that map. You're not going to see it on there.
Oh, yeah, because it's all C1.
It doesn't get you to Staples. It's positive. Yeah, it's like that map won't get you to Staples.
Oh, God, so it just goes down. Oh, I see, now I'm oriented.
I have a couple questions, or I guess one question, one comment. Are we to that point or not? The recommendation on the commitments, I guess, is what I'm listening to. So the number one recorded commitment that no vehicle shall be stored outside longer than 30 days. That's my comment. If we're rezoning to a C2, which allows automobile sales, I feel that's contradictive in then having a commitment that they can only be there for 30 days. I don't know that that's anything that is put on any other car dealership in town, that you have to rotate your inventory, or, or who would even monitor that. And then my question, just in the commitments in general, so the rest of them seem to be like development plan related commitments. So what is the benefit to having that on a commitment versus just a regular enforcement of a development plan? I guess I'm struggling of why. I agree with the commitment, so except number one, but I agree with what you're saying, but how is that important to put it on a commitment on a rezone versus just regular enforcement of our everyday?
This application does not meet the applicability for a development plan application. So we would have to require these standards at rezone rather than going through a full development plan because the improvements are already on site.
Can we not enforce that stuff on a day-to-day basis? Does it have to be a change in use or a change?
There's some sort of change that has to go
Okay,
to being
so
able to do that. So I couldn't go, I don't know.
You couldn't go someplace else and
Yeah.
say, hey, you need your parking lot striped.
Yeah. Parking lot striping is a little different because it's routine maintenance if it was there before, but
Okay.
yeah.
So would the drive off of Martha Street still be utilized in this? Because they have that access that goes all the way to Martha. It just looks like it's a path right now.
Yeah, it's just kind of a dirt path. I'm not sure if they want to use that or not, so I left it alone.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we have any sort of driveway permits onto Martha.
Guess I just didn't know about access for emergency services, fire, EMS, that type of thing. If that was some sort of easement that was
Not that I'm
required in the
aware
past.
of.
Okay.
Question. On this description, it shows 3 lots. On this red color, it really just shows the main lot and a sliver. The other 2 homes directly behind, they're not involved in this at all?
Correct, they're not involved.
I have a question actually too. This is more history. What was this original? What kind of gas station? Older people. What
We
was
were
it?
talking about that a little
Shell? Shell, thank you.
That makes sense with the sign.
And then were the tanks in the ground removed?
Not that I'm aware of.
The tanks were removed.
Tanks.
I witnessed it all. I was there. She paid $300,000 to have the tanks removed, her and her husband. The tanks were removed. 100% positive. I got pictures of it. They took it to Claypool, Indiana. It's still ongoing from the state. It's been about a $800,000 improvement. And the fuel come from across the road from the Shell, not from that one supposedly because it's leaked.
And they took all the dirt out.
Yes.
Cleared all
When was that done, Craig?
Well, it's been about 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. And then I think it went on for like 12 years. So about 10, 12 years ago. Started like 16 years ago. That's why Linda's, what do you call it? Getting rid of the property. I mean, I won't take it until the state pays 100% removal. Right now because we're getting ready to build a new building, hopefully on there eventually. And they're saying that there's going to be some restrictions from the state. The vapor barrier can't be a daycare or childcare. They're telling us there's going to be like some.
There's a lot of
restrictions.
things,
Yeah.
Restrictions.
Yep. But yeah, they have a ton of money wrapped up in that removal.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
thanks.
It's definitely, yeah, they're definitely gone. That's where the new asphalt is. You can see there's brand new asphalt in front of the building.
I remember seeing the dirt mounds out there.
Yes, they took it to Claypool, wherever Claypool is. And a lot of money.
Warsaw.
Okay, perfect.
So you know. Just the fact that there used to be
Derelicts.
tanks affect the zoning to be.
No.
Not.
And the last we heard, they had said everything's okay, but it will take them till the end of the
1
year
year.
to send us a letter.
The letter that says it's,
And when I was looking through things today, I saw the letter that said the same thing 5 years ago.
it's been going on for a long time.
So is there gonna be any ongoing soil monitoring?
There has been, but we just had some more testing done to send it to the state again. It's clean now. There's maybe a couple little spots with just over the, yeah, man, no hazard materials, no.
Hey, was there a gas station across the
Across the
street?
road where that big strip mall is. And that one has a big building out back that pumps air into the ground currently, and it's been going on for like 10 or 12 years. That one had a major gasoline spill. Or oil, I guess. But. And it could be running across the road, you know what I mean? Under the ground. But no. And the reason we're here today is we thought this was still an automobile use. I found out from Jennifer, because we have someone wanting to rent the building, we cannot rent the building because it's not for cars, she told me. So I'm like, it's been that for 55 years. But she said it changed in 2008. I've been there every day for the last 12 years. And it changed. So I don't. And I understand the car thing, 30 days. She means junk cars for the city. You know what I mean? Like non-running cars for sure. If they don't run or move, you know, I think for sure I'm 100% with you. You know what I mean?
So we have the bills? Bills towing?
Cars can't sit there longer.
Yeah, 30 days.
30 days, right? If they're not running or something like that, I agree.
That's not a junkyard.
No, that's,
You know, I understand it's not junkyard. I was just wondering, I mean, they're junk when he gets them, but
Right.
yeah.
Let me fix this.
he put up a nice
He might
thing.
fix them and he might just have an insurance company take them off.
Yeah,
But
I just verifying for you. I mean, I get it. If somebody puts in a car lot, yeah, I got cars a year, unfortunately. And they're excellent, but a lot of people don't think they're excellent when they come, they don't like, or maybe they don't like the price. But
other than that.
anyways,
Okay, any other questions for staff?
Just one more question. So on the commitments, and then I guess it might be into if there's, you know, a improvement permit that has to be done if a building does get erected here. But so the landscaping, it says is suggested. So that's not a requirement as part of the commitment. Is that correct? It's just suggested to put in.
So I'm suggesting how they do it. It got them to this was just a suggestion of how they could meet the coverage requirement.
Okay.
Now, if they hate this idea and want to change it, that's my suggestion piece is, I guess,
Okay.
where I placed it.
So there would need to be something that's put in. You were just suggesting some.
I was suggesting this,
Okay.
yeah, just getting them to write to the threshold.
And then as far as any sidewalk improvements or sidewalk connectivity, that comes if there's construction on the site itself.
Yeah, we've always required that with some sort of development plan, actually.
But not part of this rezone.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
So this would be the only C2 in a sea of C1.
Now, next month we
that
do
that
have,
wasn't grandfathered, sir. Some are grandfathered, so they might still be that zoning, but they're operating as a C2. Obviously, because I'm across the road selling cars.
yeah,
So all the blue you'd have to go with blue across the road. It had to be blue there. It had to be blue behind it. It had to be blue at O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly's is permitted in C1.
C1, just sales, carry out, sales only.
Yeah, that's fine in
Okay.
C1, so
But all
like
that,
Craig's is legal non-conforming, what he has, I was trying to think all the way down.
Yeah.
Just 10.
So no, the maps would be confusing.
There's another car lot at the corner of Mill Street and.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I know there's another one. I was trying to find it.
So that would have to be C2 as well, right?
Nope, they're grandfathered.
They're grandfathered.
But eventually, if he loses that, if he doesn't use it for 30 days, he would lose that option.
It's 6 months.
He would be here and seeing you guys. And I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, if that's what we gotta do, we gotta do it. I mean, like I told her. And it's gonna, hopefully, we go into the building, everything will be better. If you sell it or whatever, it's gonna give more value to the property, I feel. And Mama's Place has been parking for free for 3 years. So I stopped their parking with a couple signs that's illegal. And I don't even get a free sandwich. They park over there every Saturday and Sunday, not even a thank you. I'm like, come on, at least a biscuit and gravy.
I admit I parked there, Craig.
That's okay.
That's what I thought.
I like it. It says no parking, huge sign, big as this, and every weekend I go by, they're parked right in front of it or on top of it. But you can't control people. I can't even control. I'll go with.
Me.
I would have said my wife, but they all know that.
What would be the dangers? And I just put the danger in quote, and it's just from future development or of other properties if that was a C2.
So this was really, it was a conscious effort. You can see that from the land use map that they created and then also the language that I presented, to remove those auto-oriented businesses through there. Really, it's a matter of character. I don't think, spot zoning isn't really a thing. We like to throw that term around, but it's not really legally a thing.
Like spot zoning?
Yeah. It's just more like, where are we going in this area as it transitions? Are we okay with auto-oriented businesses? If that's a shift from 2008, then things shift. Or are you not and want to uphold it? So that's, to me, really the question for the Plan Commission, is the future of the corridor.
I was curious about something when I drove by. Is that Everidge Motors on the front? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
So you've been using it as the car sales?
Sir, I've been there for 12 years every day. I paid her rent every month for cars, but I just overflow parking, or we detail in there some and this and that, but it's not allowed anymore because I'm phasing out. I'm trying to quit working. So the building hasn't been any income. I've been paying Linda $7,000 a year and it hasn't been producing any income. So I have someone to rent it, and I can't rent it to them because they can't work on cars there. So I'm here trying to get it so it can make money instead of just free parking for Mama's Place. But it's not your problem at the end of the day. It's still mine, but it's okay. Whatever we have to do, we'll do it.
Okay, anyone else?
I guess my opinion is I don't have an issue with rezoning and having it be auto-oriented. You look at the map, you have Everidge Auto, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Auto World, whatever it's called. There's 3 auto parts stores within the block. Four. So, that seems to be the nature of it. So I feel like auto-oriented business would fit in this area.
It's also Jiffy Lube.
Oh, yeah. Jiffy Lube, yeah, I forgot.
So, this seems like this is the auto corridor right here.
Gas station, the Marathon would have to be, wouldn't they? Because,
Gas stations are actually allowed in C1.
but you have it on the C2 map. It says gas station, don't it? On the,
It's permitted in both.
okay. I didn't know if it was permitted in C1.
I think.
I'm gonna believe you.
We got Napa Auto Parts.
Yeah, there's a lot of auto.
I think one thing too is that, the environmental company has a lot of stipulations that would keep a lot of things from happening. So between the two, I'm sure I'll keep track of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you touched on a few things that are not permitted because of the pollution that's there.
Yes.
Talked about daycare,
Nursing home.
nursing home.
I don't think any homes, let's just say any homes can't live on the property.
What's the shorter list? What could go there? Do you think?
Anything she said.
What's-
Anything can go there, I think, except for living quarters and yeah, I'm excited to find out.
Oh, no, you're right. Craig, you're right.
I just saw it on your list. That's what I was saying, but you said it could be on both. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna
Yes,
argue.
you're right. Only in C2 or gas station.
Only in C2, are you sure they're not in C1?
Sure.
Okay.
Jeff, typically on those restrictions, you can't put a well in,
Right?
you can't have a daycare, a nursing home. They protect anything that's geared towards kids or the elderly.
Yep.
Anything that's built in there, yeah, you're safe. Anything that is built in, like if he builds a new building, the soil that comes out has to go to a landfill, that's restricted. Those are the types of restrictions I have seen. Now, they can go all the way up more extensive, but that's like typically the first layer of it.
And a vapor barrier. I've been told you have to put in a vapor barrier.
What is that? Is that like this queen?
A mat, yeah, something underneath the foundation.
Permeable, basically, yeah, like a real heavy plastic that his building or anything that he digs out, it sits on so that oil, any gases, any of that cannot permeate from the ground up into the building.
I guess before a motion is made, just based on a previous comment on the commitments, the no vehicle shall be stored outside, would we need to clarify that would be no, like non-running vehicles? Because if it is an auto sales, I just want to make sure we don't inadvertently restrict even further if the type of business needs to have vehicles sitting out front.
I would support a better, tighter definition. I mean, if have people like
I like that.
maybe Bill's or Gerber, the body shop down here, if they're not allowed to have non-working vehicles there past 30 days, then I would certainly say this would be a prime candidate for that restriction.
And how would that work, Jennifer, if we do have a restriction like that on this rezone and there's other facilities in C1 that were grandfathered in that have similar operations, would this commitment on this rezone impact them at all? Only if they go to rezone?
And you guys require it, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Are we in discussion or are we? We're in discussion. It's obvious to me, I drove down through there. There's 4 auto parts dealers, a Duffield gas station, a Chevy dealership. I mean, this is probably as densely automobile oriented as any place could be. It seems to me as though we should, whatever the 2008 deal was, they were clearly unsuccessful. There's nothing in their Broward dealers practically. It seems like maybe we ought to consider changing it.
Question, when you have people like Advance, O'Reilly's, whoever else, they just take over a building? I mean, they wouldn't have to come before us to get,
O'Reilly bought my building, tore it down, built that up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure they came before the planning commission at some point.
Mm-hmm. So when they tore it down and then rebuilt, that's a development plan.
at the development.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, any change of use, we issue improvement location permits for.
Okay. Anything else, Joe?
Your mind is working.
Yeah.
An hour, I can see this.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I think we've had our discussion amongst everybody, so may I have a motion?
We have given this thing to zoning
With the recommendations?
with the recommendations there, yeah.
I would like to add to that.
There's a motion before the board, and may I have a
But he
clarification?
wants to add to it a tighter definition of the cover storage. And I would, if you want to add that to
Would you restate your motion? Yeah, what is your motion?
Okay, my motion is that we grant him C2 to the zoning. With the understanding he has to live up to these suggestions here,
I didn't hear that with what?
the suggestions here in the
Suggestions, the,
The recommended condition.
Recommendation.
okay.
Summary,
Yeah,
and that we get a tighter
So
definition
how
of
about
the storage.
recorder commitments that no non-running vehicles shall be stored?
Or non-movable, if you know, they might, some people put like semi-trailers there and try to use them for billboards. In the past, I've heard,
Heard this? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you don't want everybody doing that. So
Now,
non-movable.
Member Peters had a suggestion or a,
Yeah, it was to tighten the non-movables. I think we're all struggling to redefine that.
yeah.
Number one recommendation. No non-movable vehicles.
And did you second then?
Well, I can, certainly.
Okay, well, I
Yes, I
didn't know if
second.
that was part of the second. Okay. All in favor? Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
So is that it? The only one you guys have today? So you might need some help, you need us to stick around.
Jennifer, does the applicant understand that this needs to go to city council for final action?
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
This board is just a recommendation to city council, only they can change the zoning.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure she has me on speed dial, so we're good.
And you both signed in out front,
I
correct?
did not.
Would you please? I forgot to mention that.
Thank you. Yep, thank you, guys. Have a good night. You did, Brenda?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Any reports? I believe, Jeff, do you want to give a report?
Oh, yeah, I attended the first county plan commission with Austin and Jennifer was sitting in the gallery. They're basically trying to get organized as to getting their ordinances all in line so that they're complementary to one another. Similar to what we've been doing over the last couple, 3-4 years here. One of the things that came up, and maybe Austin, you can add to this, is Jim Slaybaugh came up and talked about bringing some of the drains that are within the city, and I don't understand it all. So they were basically saying to have the city, tell me if I'm wrong here, have the city take over the drains that are located within the city limits, and then the county will take care of the drains that are outside the city limits. And
That's what it is now.
what?
That's what it is now.
Well, I guess not, right?
It is not. I'll let,
Just didn't know if Austin wanted.
No, please take your ace.
I see the glaze.
The county has designated legal drains is what they call them. And all the drainage taxes that we all pay, that goes into funds that maintain those legal drains. So the county, and specifically the county surveyor, is the legal owner, maintenance of those legal drains anywhere in the county. Doesn't matter if it's in Angola, Fremont, in the rural area, they own and maintain this. So your email got forwarded to me. Someone else contacted me about it. I called Jim and we had a conversation about it. That topic has never came up to the city.
Oh.
So we talked about it. I told Jim, as they work, and if that's a goal of the counties, to talk to the city about it. I'm not going to say if I'm for it or against it, or if any of our elected officials are for it or against it, but the city of Fort Wayne has an agreement with Allen County.
And that's what was
And I think
brought up.
that's-
That was the
Yes.
example that was brought up.
So I think it was something that has been brought up by who they have hired. We have not had any discussion on it.
Okay.
So kind of where that stands.
All right, well, ball out on the field, that's.
Giving out details, I think the conversations that I've been part of is the dollar amounts, which I don't know off the top of my head what they are. Jim feels like they're very underfunded to be able to continue moving on. So I think that has led to the exploration of options of, rather than just increasing taxes, what are other options that might be available, which the Fort Wayne piece came to light. And that's the purpose of the
And
conversation.
he tried to explain to me how the property owners are taxed. And it's just mind boggling. It's like little parcels. And then you have to add in all the little parcels, and all those are individually taxed at one rate and another person gets taxed at another rate. That's what it sounded like to me.
Those rates are rates that are probably the furthest. It's been the longest since they've been updated of any rates. And so they're, for him to do his job has become very difficult.
Well, and I just thought with the calculation and so forth, Craig can't build a supercomputer to come up with all that stuff.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Just, geez, get it simplified somehow.
That's the purpose. Yeah. And I don't think at this point they're saying that Angola take over. It's what are the options?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's it. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think Jennifer might be able to jump in. I think just with your first comment for the alignment of ordinances and looking at permitting and things like that, I do think there will be discussions on building inspections, the ETJ, so there'll be some coordination there with how operations commence. And I'm sure you've had conversations with Clint, or will have conversations with Clint, or the county, I should say, holistically. So I know that was one of the topics as well as
Right.
driving this initiative to kind of reassess and realign how their processes are implemented.
any other reports? All right, next month we will have a meeting very similar to this request. It's a request from C1 to C2 for auto-oriented businesses. But that is all that's on the agenda. No. Anything else?
I think we're adjourned.